Hello, I am on my morning walk. I am taking my normal path, normal as in the path I used to take all the time, and I do maybe now once a week because I had a problem with my ankles a while back, so I'm mindful of that, getting older. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Patricia Brooks. I am an American who moved to France 8 years ago and haven't looked back. And now I help people who are ready to start new chapters of their lives living and thriving in a foreign country find the confidence and courage to do that. And on this channel, I talk about my life here in France, about doing something that feels really hard even when you're scared. And today I'm going to talk about something that might resonate with you. I hope it does. And that is, you've probably done a lot of researching on the how to make a move abroad happen. But are you still feeling stuck? Are you still feeling overwhelmed? What is it going to take for you to kind of move your plans forward, build that momentum, and actually make the move abroad? Today I'm going to talk about 3 traits or qualities that I think are important for people to have to build so that they can not only make a move abroad, actually take that step and make that leap, but also so that they can transition into their new life in a way that really sits well with them. And so I'm going to break those down into 3 traits that I see often. And forgive me because I am walking uphill and huffing and puffing, but I know you like to see the surroundings where I am. And so thought today would be a good day to do that. So you're going to see what I see as I walk, and I'm going to share these thoughts with you. All right? So enjoy. So I want to start off by saying that 2 of these qualities have to do with the things we tell ourselves, that self-talk, which is so vital. I am reading a book called Surviving Paris by Robin Allison Davis, I believe is the author's name. And she moved to Paris and then had a couple bouts with breast cancer while living there soon after she arrived. And she shares her story. And I'm just about a quarter of the way through. But I landed on a sentence that reminded me of a group coaching call I had very recently. And I thought, this is something I think that could help other people who are wanting to make a move abroad or do something that feels bold, daring, scary, help them to move through the things that may be holding them back. And that was, she moved to France on a student visa, 18-month program, and she really didn't want to be a student again, but that seemed like the best path for her. And so that's what she did. And through, the hard times of being a student and, trying to find, good accommodations, because she was an older student too. She wasn't 22. I think she moved when she was in her early 30s. And so there were challenges. And she told herself, I can do anything for 2 years. And I thought, okay, that's a nice go-to saying, especially when a lot of times the things we want take time for them to materialize, for them to get to the place that we actually recognize them as the dream we were going for. I think that's true, especially in making a move abroad, because once you're there, but you are figuring things out, you're learning things, you are, just getting situated. So I could do anything for 2 years was her go-to saying. And I like that. But it reminded me of this group coaching call I had a few days earlier, where we spoke of other go-to sayings. A woman in the program is planning a move to Portugal, and she's had to pivot a couple of times. And it can be very frustrating, when you have one path and then you say, oh, maybe this path would be easier, and then you shift gears. And she was on a call with her Portuguese tutor, who said to her, oh, there's a Portuguese expression, those without dogs hunt with cats. And we all laughed on the call, because we're, I was at least imagining this imagery of going hunting with cats. And it brought a smile to her face too. And I'm like, yeah, it's hard, it's challenging, it's frustrating. And if you have a saying like that helps you shift the energy that you're feeling about what you're doing, brings the energy up to a higher level that's more positive, more empowering, then you've got gold there. And I went on to talk about my go-to saying. My old go-to saying was very negative, but the thing that broke me out of that saying was something that my Uncle Bob had shared with me. For the longest time, my go-to saying was, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You don't quit a job unless you have one at the ready. And when I was preparing to make my move to France, and I shared with him that I was going to do this, I had been planning in a way that didn't feel completely good, because I didn't believe necessarily that my parents would be that supportive of me. But when he said, oh, that's wonderful, I had to ask him, why in the world are you, or how can you be so supportive of me when I don't believe my parents would be? And he was a few years older than my parents. And he shared with me my new go-to saying, which is nothing ventured, nothing gained. And it has taken time for that to become what I hear instead of a bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. But now I am not completely risk averse, but that safety part of the equation is not something that feels so limiting. So that's mine. And then on the call, Tolu, perhaps you saw the live stream we did a couple weeks back, she shared what her go-to saying was. And she shared it on the live stream. So if you haven't seen it, you can go ahead and check it out. I'll put a link above and in the description so you can watch it. It was a really good live stream. And hers was, leave no stone unturned. Because in that way, she can make peace with whatever happens, right? She's doing all she can to have the thing she's going for, or achieve the thing she's going for. And if that doesn't work out, she knows that she did everything that she could. And either there's another way, or it's not meant to be, right? And she can walk away or regroup with a sense of peace. And so those sayings, these go-to sayings, are really important. And it's what we tell ourselves. And I think it's really important to recognize that we can have these sayings, these things that can be trite sometimes, that have become part of our consciousness unconsciously, that we need to be intentional about what we tell ourselves quietly in our minds, or even if we speak to ourselves aloud. And if it's not positive, it's not helping you to do the thing you want to do, you need to find a replacement, as I did, right? So that's number one. They have a go-to saying that is positive and supportive of their vision. And I think that, it's a good idea to kind of think about what it is you tell yourself. And if it's not something that's positive, what other sayings speak to you? Perhaps it's one I shared with you. Perhaps it's something else. If you have a go-to saying that supports you and helps you move forward in the things you want to do, be resilient, I'd like for you to share that in the comments. All right, now trait number 2 has to do with the fact that people who make a move abroad happen and who are successful in transitioning to the kind of life they want there, they are action oriented. So you can think that you want to move abroad all you want. You can even plan. You can get all the information in the world. But if that is not followed up by taking steps, taking action to move the ball forward, so to speak, then you're not going to make the move abroad happen, because it's not just going to happen all on its own. The other piece of this that is so important, even when it feels scary, that you take a step forward, is because as you take that action, you are actually changing your perspective, your vantage point. It's like you're standing still, and then all of a sudden you take a step forward. What you see and how you see it is different because you are not in the same position. And the same is true as you take these steps forward, as you plan your new life abroad, as you actually take action to make your move abroad. For example, something as simple as getting on a complimentary call with a visa professional, for example, can help you gain an understanding of perhaps a visa type that you didn't believe or know was even available to you that could ease your way. But if you stayed stuck saying, oh, yeah, I need to do that, and you keep putting it off, and you don't do that action, that information is not there for you, and you can't move forward from that. So they are action-oriented. They take action. And I want to give you an example of this. A couple of weeks ago, I had my January Women Rising Roundtable, create your reinvention plan and actually start working on it. At the end of that, I offered a complimentary accountability session where they had already created their action plan, and she scheduled this complimentary session with me as a follow-up soon after the roundtable ended. And she put down the things that she was going to have completed by the time we met. And in fact, she had done 75% of what she said she was going to do. Now, first of all, she took action by signing up for the reinvention plan. She knew she was stuck. She needed some help in putting something in place to help her move abroad. And when she, was offered that complimentary accountability session, she took advantage of that. And she showed up, and she did the work to have a 75% success rate. And from that, she actually learned about the visa that she is going to go for in Greece. And she learned some details she hadn't known that made her feel more positive about her chances and the process. Now she's taking the next step. And so people who have success in making a move abroad, who have success in transitioning into the kind of life they want there, are action-oriented. All right, that's trait number 2. Trait number 3 has to do with what we tell ourselves again, but in a different form. It's not a saying that is well known. It's not something that we may even take to be as truth, such as I had with a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, or as my Uncle Bob believed, nothing ventured, nothing gained. It is something that we create on our own. And they have, it's not necessarily so much a trait, but it becomes a trait once they start to embody it, once it just starts to be second nature in their mind, top of mind, as they encounter challenging things. And that is, they know their why. Now, I ask a lot of people why they want to move abroad, why they want to move to France, why they want to move to whatever country they're moving to. And oftentimes it's a surface level answer. They want to move abroad because the cost of living is lower, or they want to move abroad because the food in their new country is healthier. And those are reasons why, but they're not the deeper why that I'm talking about. Why is it important to live in a country where the food is healthier, right? Go deeper and ask yourself, 4 or 5 times, why is that so important to me? So that you can get to something that is tied to your principles or your core values that really matter to you, right? You can drill down and saying, well, family is important to me. And so if I'm eating healthier, and I'm going to hopefully be around for them longer and to enjoy, life with them. And that's what I mean by a deeper why. And the fact that, they know their deeper why, they've done some inner work to kind of get to that, because it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, but they've done the work to do that. And their why is something that is second nature to them. It's top of mind as they're moving through life, as they're waking up in the morning and they're thinking about all the things they have to do to accomplish the thing they want to go for. That comes up. Yeah, it feels hard, and I'm doing this because this is my why. I'm doing this because making this move abroad is going to bring this kind of meaning into my life. And then that helps to propel them out of bed, into action, and stay the course. And it's true not only to make the move abroad, but to transition into the kind of life that they want abroad, because their why will inform the vision that they want for their lives, right? Where in their dream country will they be living? City or country? What will they be doing? Will they be working for a company, or will they be starting their own business, right? Will they be volunteering? All of these things, like the why helps inform the vision, and the vision helps the transition be easier. I'm going to pause there because what I've shared is a lot, and talk about how these three things have helped me, right? I already spoke about, having that shift from bird in the hand to nothing ventured, nothing gained. That felt like it gave me permission to make my move abroad and make it in a way that felt good, where I wasn't kind of resisting but doing, or feeling guilty but doing it anyway. It helped me feel, positive about it. Taking action. I am the kind of person who is typically action-oriented, but there are times in my life when fear and doubt cause me to not take action. Case in point was I waited a year longer than I probably should have or would have been, wise to do to start my business. And because I was afraid. Not taking action sooner caused me to spend more of my savings than necessary without having that as a runway for my business, and caused me to feel more stressed in the long run. But as soon as I decided, right, because decision is something that starts before you take that action, that I was going to do this thing, and I got the help I needed, and I applied, things changed for me, right? And so I recognize that being action-oriented, even in the face of fear, is something that I work through. And I think that that's why sometimes we don't take the action we want. And thirdly, my why. When I moved to France, my why was not deep. It was really about learning the language, and maybe there's something deeper there that I finally happened upon, and making the move abroad happen. And so for me, making the move abroad happen and living in a foreign country was a challenge. And one of my core values is accomplishment, right? And seeing, what I'm capable of. And in, making a move abroad, I accomplished something really big that felt really good. I proved to myself that I was capable of doing that. And that served that core value. As I was going through the motions, and looks like I got a challenge up ahead here too. Not sure if you can see this big old puddle and all this mud I got to get around. We've had a lot of rain here. You see that? What's the best way around? Speaking of challenges, all right, here we go. You see all this mud? Ooh. All right. So I'm almost out of the mud. And get back on track here. All right. Whew. So, while I wanted to move abroad and I hadn't defined it as, that's going to support my core value of accomplishment and personal growth and development, that's what I see it as now. But knowing that, having that deeper understanding, had I had that, I think that my first year would have been a bit easier because I could have put the struggle I felt and the self-doubt I felt to rest a little bit more easily. And then the second thing, as I said, I wanted to become fluent in French, and that is another goal, but I hadn't understood what core value it supported. And as I was, writing my third book, one of the many drafts of this third book that is in the works, I recognized that beauty is important to me. And so the language is beautiful, and I wanted to speak this beautiful language. And that uncovered the fact that, France, so many parts of France are beautiful, and I wanted to live in a beautiful country. Had I recognized that a little sooner, I think that would have helped to ease my way early on. And so that's why the why statement is so valuable. And actually doing the work, before you move. It's possible to get here to this place without that, but why not, take advantage of something that is going to help motivate and fuel you and keep you in a positive, empowered state. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Now, I can help if you're thinking, this is all wonderful, but how do I create my why statement? Or how do I become the kind of person who is action-oriented? I am a life coach who helps people to work on their mindset, because moving abroad is part logistics, and staying abroad is a lot mindset, right? So as a life coach, I help people who are, at a place in their lives where they're functioning pretty well, emotionally and mentally, but who need some support in moving the ball forward in their lives, right? They know that they want to go someplace. Maybe that's not even that clear. I help build the clarity of what it is you want, create that vision, help you to create a plan of action, and help to hold you accountable to that so that you actually make progress and experience what it is you want to experience. And so I offer quite a few things. I offer one-on-one coaching. I offer my group coaching program that I already spoke of, the Carefree Expat Incubator. And I also offer something that's not coaching, but is very helpful if you find yourself saying, there's so much to do. I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to begin. And that's called the Exit Strategy Planning Session, where you give me your information. I create a project plan for you. We meet, we discuss it, we add dates to it. You work on it for a couple of weeks. We come back, we see what progress you've made, and then you take it from there. and that's available on my website as well. So if you want more information on any of these things, you can go to thecouragecatalyst.com. Additionally, if you find yourself saying, I don't even know where to begin, my Pathfinder guide is a great place to start as well. And this is a 19-page PDF where you answer some questions, you figure out where you are on your Move Abroad path and what the next steps are at each part of your journey, and you take those steps and you go from there. And if you have not already downloaded it, you can go to thecouragecatalyst.com/Pathfinder and download your free copy today. All right. I know this is a long video. Hopefully you enjoyed the scenery. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, thank you. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.